All right. Everybody can hear me?
Yes, so we can hear you.
Oh, perfect, Catherine. Thank you.
See you.
We will wait 1 more minute. Hopefully some other people will join us, and then we will start with the webinar.
Welcome, Monica. I see you've joined from, well, the other continent.
Yeah, hi, how are you doing?
Hi. Hi there. Good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning. Thank you.
We're pretty much covering all continents today. In the morning session, we've had China represented and Africa. Now of course, it's always Europe involved and Latin America. So only Australia is missing, I guess.
Yeah. Okay, let's start because we have limited time, and thank you all for joining us in this second webinar. We have 3 topics that we would like to speak about. First, we have a presentation by Axco about the country reports and who is Axco and what their procedure is. And Amy Howell, our contact person, will give the presentation. The second part will be done by Katja Makadans. Katja is working for our founding member, Emmerich Strohe in Germany, and she will tell you more about their experience in using the reports and give you some recommendations for your advice to your clients. And then finally, I would like to use 10 to 15 minutes and go through the members area and also give you a short overview of the new forum tool that we introduced today. So let's start with the Axco presentation. Amy, it's up to you.
Brilliant, thanks Rutger. Just want to make sure, can you see the slide?
Yes, we do, but it's smaller than this morning. I think it's not in presentation mode.
Right, let me just try and share it so it's actually the, 1 moment, sorry. My windows are, let me see. Just going to quickly stop sharing. Oh, sorry, 1 moment. Right, let me, hopefully now. Can you all see the slide in full?
Yes.
Yeah, now it's full screen. Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay, lovely. And sorry for that. Brilliant. Well, thank you for the introduction, Rutger, and lovely to meet you all. And thanks for taking some time out of your day to join us on the webinar. So just quickly, as Rutger said, I'm Amy and I manage the Euribron broker network subscription here at Axco. And so I often liaise with Rutger on kind of a frequent basis. Now, in my section of the webinar today, I'm going to be taking you through who Axco are, what the reports are that you have access to, and I'll just take you through a quick demonstration and guide you through some areas of the report before I then hand on to Katja, who will kind of provide you with more insights into how she uses the information in the reports on a daily basis. So just quickly, and for those of you who are less familiar with Axco and who we are, so we are a leading information provider of global insurance market information and data, and we have 60 years of experience in researching and publishing industry intelligence on life insurance, non-life insurance, and employee benefits. So initially we were set up to provide research predominantly to the non-life insurance industry. However, over the years, we've gone from strength to strength, adding life insurance, healthcare and employee benefits to our scope, and so establishing ourselves as the global insurance market information publisher. And at the heart of our service is our unique research methodology, which I believe sets us apart. And so the unique part is that we collect all of our data using a combination of primary and secondary research. So what do we mean by the primary research aspect? Well, we like to refer to it as our feet on the ground primary research methodology, whereby we employ a number of market consultants here at Axco. Now, these consultants or writers have 20 to 30 years of experience in the international insurance industry. And so what we do is that we deploy these writers to all 170 plus markets that Axco reports on around the globe. And so that means that all of the information is collected on the ground. And as I mentioned, these writers have a vast amount of experience and have a deep knowledge of their respective markets that they focus on. And so during these visits on an 12 to 18 month basis, each writer will engage in conversation with a variety of stakeholders, including the local regulators, associations and insurers, to name a few. And so it's these relationships, these long-standing relationships that we've established in each market that allows us to provide valuable insights into not only what is stated in law, but how the market is responding to these laws and what is happening in practice. And I guess it's the difference between what the law says and the market practice that's really valuable to know, as it dictates ultimately what is happening in that market. But in addition to our primary research, our findings are also supplemented by through secondary research conducted by our in-house team of analysts here in London. And so they use the latest technology, including web monitoring and data scraping tools, to allow them to keep on top of proposed changes to legislative and regulatory requirements across all 170 plus markets that you can benefit from. And so through the Euribron network, you have access to our market profiles. And so these market profiles are a condensed and summarized report and include information on topics such as local insurance regulation, the tax compliance conditions, company registration and operating requirements, and market developments such as market size, structure, and trends. And I guess some of the key highlights of these reports is that they cover all 170 plus markets around the globe, and all of the information is checked and verified by our in-house team of analysts. And so, you know, each report is in a very consistent like-for-like format following the exact same chapter headings. And so, as I mentioned, these reports are great for understanding more detail on getting an initial sense of global markets for your strategic planning, and obviously maybe identifying, making comparisons across markets. And also if you're looking at moving into a new market, then obviously it's really great to understand the market conditions. Now, to access these reports, all you need to do is to email axco@euribron.com with a request for the report that you would like access to, and then Rutger or Jean-Luc will aim to get back to you and provide you with the report within a couple of days. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to share my screen of the Axco portal quickly, and then I'll take you through an example report just so you can get familiar with what the reports look like. Hopefully now you can all see the Axco portal page. So I have a direct access into the portal, but for the purpose of today, we're going to focus on market profiles. And so here you'll see a list of all of the countries that Axco reports on. So they're all listed alphabetically here, and obviously you would just need to submit a request to request which report you would like access to. But for the instance of today, I'll take you through the Argentina report. And so along the left-hand side here, you have access to all of the key chapter headings. And so market profiles, they straddle both the non-life insurance, life insurance, and employee benefit sectors. And so along the left-hand side here, all of the key chapter headings, general country information, I won't go into it too much, but it provides you with some information on the country. And then we also have a risk analysis section, and so you can understand from a political, economic, security, operational, and environmental viewpoint, a risk analysis on the the political landscape, the economic landscape. And so there's lots of information there, and each chapter heading is divided into more subsections. And then if we move further on, here you will find the very important regulation and supervision section. So within this chapter of the report, you will find really granular information on some of the most important local legislation that is that governs the local Argentina market. And then you'll find information on any effects of new legislation. Within these reports, you will also get access to the list of key list of compulsory insurances that are required by law in that local market. And so you'd have access to this. And then further on, we also go into more information on the types of license, the supervisory authority, foreign ownership, for example. And then moving on, we come into the admitted, non-admitted section. So within this chapter, we provide you with a summary as to whether non-admitted insurance is permitted or not permitted in the local market. And so it's obviously very important to have an understanding outside of your local market as to whether admitted insurance is permitted or not permitted. And then we provide you with some of the key pieces of legislation that govern this. And then from a multinational perspective, we provide you with information on fronting arrangements. And then similarly for non-life insurance, we also provide you with whether non-admitted insurance is permitted or not permitted for life assurance in that local market. And then there's some really important information on company financial criteria. And so that's broken down into further subsections. And then here within the taxes and charges section, we provide you with a list of all of the key taxes and charges that are payable and who they are to be paid by. So whether it's to be paid by the insurer or the insured, and a description of that tax or charge. And there's also tax on reinsurance premiums as well. And then if we move down even further, you will find the insurance market section. And so this section is really great if you want to understand, for example, distribution channels and how insurance is typically sold within that local market. Information on state insurance companies. There's further information on the insurance market size, penetration and density, non-life structure and trends, as well as life structure and trends. So lots of a wealth of information within these reports. And then there's a section on policy terms and conditions. So you'll find information on the policy language and the currency that the policy should be issued in, the renewal process, cancellation provisions. And then here you'll find information on premium payment terms. And obviously, as I mentioned earlier, one of the benefits is that we get local market insights, which allows us to then deliver what typical market practice is. There is also a section on reinsurance as well. And then here we move further down. So if we went into the line of business section for non-life, here we break it down into Axco's parent class tree. So within each line of business, for example, if I was to go down into property, you can see here there's broken down into all of these subclasses of liability insurance. So here we provide information on product liability, D&O, for example, and environmental liability, and the same again for the other lines of business, so energy, aviation, whatever product line obviously you're looking into. And then as we ascend to the latter part of the reports, there's then information on life insurance and employee benefits. So as well as the workers' compensation and employee liability section here, we also go into information on the social security system, the healthcare system, and then there's lots of further information, for example, on private medical insurance, state healthcare, expatriates. And then as we move further on in the reports, you'll find information on pension and employee benefits, and also on individual life assurance. So if you were to ever get a so if you were to ever request a copy through the Euribron network of our reports, you would gain access to all of the chapter headings within that, and then that would be exported and sent to you afterwards. Now, I don't know if anyone had any questions while we were in the report. Otherwise, I'll pass on to Katia, who will continue in this webinar.
Are there any questions? I don't see any hands, so I don't think so.
No, from my side.
Yes, not from your side, Katrine. Okay. Yes, my recommendation is just try ask me for one download, or I'm going to show you where on the members area we have some reports already downloaded, and try to work with it and see it for yourself. I think that's the best. The practice is always the best. And talking about practice, Katja, can you explain how you work with the reports and what you recommend?
Sure, I can, because I consider myself a heavy user and a big fan of Axco services, which is why I'm here today. Those who don't know me yet, I work with MRH Trove in the function of the head of international. And in this role, what I do is I not just go along the implementation of international programs, but I also dedicate at least as much amount of time into the design of global programs, insurance programs, a job I clearly couldn't do without the help of Axco's reports, which is why I refer to these as my Bible, my go-to tool for everyday's use, and to be sure we are acting compliant and have an edge in comparison to our competitors. Because what we always observe is that not all competitors, not all brokers, at least not in Germany, consider international regulation to the extent needed. And this allows us to regularly beat them. When we analyze the existing portfolio of insurance, we often find that there's compulsory coverages neglected, or country specifics are simply missing. And that's something which is, most helpful when it comes to production of accounts. So allow me to speak real quick about the 4 areas that I identify as crucial for my daily job. And I will begin with the non-admitted insurance section. One of the key areas I regularly consult when I look up information in Axco's reports, because as we all know, when working on or with international clients, it is essential to assess their risks outside of your own market. And speaking from a German perspective, that is very often non-admitted countries, at least outside of Europe. So it's absolutely crucial to understand the regulatory requirement and the environment we're operating in. And in order not to bother you all the time when we only pursue business and not just implement business, I like to make use of Axco's reports for exactly that information, to gain an understanding of whether it is okay to insure those foreign territories on our own paper, or whether a locally admitted policy is mandatory. And Axco also gives you insights into whether the master insurance policy, the DIC-DIL element that we regularly use, is okay to use in these countries, or whether it is also strictly forbidden. Both these information you find in those sections, and you should absolutely consider when you design and conceptualize a global program. Another important aspect is certainly workers' comp and also employer's liability. These 2 coverages from a German viewpoint are less interesting, which is why it's for me all the more important that I learn about how foreign operations deal with these. In many countries, I understand or I know for a fact that these are commercial coverages, which you can or must obtain from local private insurance companies, unlike in Germany, for example. And this is why especially German brokers like to simply forget about these coverages. And this is where I come in. This is where I partner with our co-workers, with the team that produces business and with the team that obtains insurance quotations from insurance companies. I like to point out where we do need these coverages, and that type of information you can retrieve from the Axco reports. You can also find in there whether these coverages are not only compulsory, but also where you find these coverages. Do you purchase them from state-owned insurance companies, or are these private commercial lines of business? And another aspect that is important is to know whether the EL insurance cover is part of the public liability and an extension to that type of cover, or whether you need to afford it as an extension to work comp or even standalone. And this is so important because as a producing broker, you oftentimes control, especially the liability line of business. And in that role, it is important that you need to instruct the carrier, the insurance company, to extend these coverages. If you don't, then you end up with a local policy, which is just the beginning, as I like to say. It's not as robust as it is necessary, and it needs to mend it after. To avoid that you go a second time to the insurance company, I like to retrieve that type of information myself from the Axco reports and then incorporate it into the quotation from the beginning. Because what we've also learned is over the years, you cannot rely on insurance companies. Most or many insurers, they lack this type of this type of information, although they could access Axco themselves, but not all insurance or not all individual underwriters make use of this or have an understanding. So it is important that you are minimum as informed, if not more informed as the insurance company, so you can guide them and instruct them specifically what it is that you need, what you need them to quote, not only in your country of origin, but especially in the foreign operations. And I can only point out, I could not do this without Axco's information. Third, or another critical factor that I like to use Axco for is taxation, which we all know is as important as compliance. Especially taxation is something that you don't want to do wrong. And Axco's reports, they do include that relevant tax information related not only to premiums, but also to claims. And what you can also learn from these reports is which party actually owes which party owes the tax eventually. Is it the insured, the policyholder, or is it payable by the insurance company? This is important where you, as the producing broker, issue policies yourself, what we always like to do in Germany. And again, since the insurance companies not always have that type of information handy or don't know where to find it or are negligent looking it up, you need to double check or even instruct them what is the exact percentage by line of business, and also where the percentage has changed. What we here and there do see in many countries over the years, and these changes usually come very at short notice. You need to be better informed than the insurance company, who not always in all cases amend their database the night the night the change comes into effect. So you need to stay on top of this, and Axco helps me to stay on top. And the last area of use is for me international market insights, especially for jurisdictions outside of Europe that definitely differ from European or Western standards of insurance. Not always they have the same type of cover available. Not always the insurance market offers the same coverages that, for example, Germany already has. Thinking of D&O insurance cover and also cyber, both lines are not readily available yet in all territories, in all countries worldwide, and are mostly driven by Western companies that expand into these countries. In those cases, I like to look up whether this type of cover is actually available, whether it is, well, nice to have only or strictly required, and then like to guide the clients that we are advising whether they can rely on just D&O insurance cover on their policy, on their parent company's policy, or whether it is really advisable to take out a locally admitted policy at an additional fee. Yeah, so to wrap up, Axco is my #1 resource for all things international, to guide clients, to guide insurance companies even, to get a good understanding of the market and to prepare before we reach out to our broker friends. Axco cannot replace the personal touch, of course, but it's a nice resource to get started and to gain some insights before you reach out to the foreign partners worldwide. That would be my experience so far.
Okay, thank you, Katja. Are there any questions to Katja or Amy about the Axco reports or how to use them? No, I don't think so. Okay, well, it's been very clear. And once again, how do they say it? The proof of the eating is in the pudding. No, the proof of the pudding is in the eating. So ask me for the reports, and I'm going to download them with pleasure. This morning we got a question: are there any plans to obtain licenses for each member? Well, at this moment we have a license for Euribron, and that is based on more than 200 downloads per year, which is an average of 6 reports per member. Hopefully in the future it will be that successful that you all ask me for dozens of reports each year, and then we have to renegotiate the contract with Amy, and I'd love to do that. But let's start with using these reports and making them part of your advice. So, okay, once again, thank you, Amy and Katja. I would like to continue with a short overview of our members area on the website. I'm going to share my screen with you. Can you confirm that you see the screen, that you see the website?
I do, yeah.
Yes?
Yes, you. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Well, hopefully you all have seen this website, and on the right top you see sign up and members area. Sign up is for a new registration, and members area is to approach the members area. So this is a secured place, part of the website that is only for the members of Euribron. Hopefully you all have your user login. If you don't, or if you have forgotten your password, you see here the link to reset your password. And you can also register here or with the sign up button there as a new user. It is important to use your company email address because that automatically registers you and makes your account. If you register with a Gmail account, Gmail email address or something, it's not going to work. If you want to register with another address, then email address, then your company email, let me know. Send an email to me, and I can set up your registration. So that's no problem. When you log in, you see this screen, and here you see your main navigation, and that is important. I will start with well, let's start with the dashboard here, and it is here. Okay, so here you can go back. If you want to, I didn't see. If you want to make changes in your profile, you go to your name, and here you can do all your changes. You can make notifications, user information, the language is your phone number. So that is in your profile up here. And in the navigation, I'll start with manage your company. This, you can only click on this and you can only see this if your role is a members administrator. There are 3 roles. There is the Euribron administrator, which is me. I can change everything. Then there is the members administrator, which enables you to change the information of your company that is on the website. And there is the normal members role. There you can see, you can download, but you cannot make the changes in your company. If you need to change anything for your company and you do not have the members administrator role, you can ask me and I can give you that role. In this case, I am connected to VLC and partners, which so if I click on that part, I can make all the changes for VLC and partners, because this is my company according to the system. You can change phone numbers, description, contact persons, offices, etc. It's all in here. And you can also click these boxes with industries and specialties. It will become more and more important for us to tick these boxes and say where your specialties are, because in that case it will make it easier for others to find you when you have special expertise, special knowledge. So for instance, if your specialty is aviation and you tick that box, others can search on the specialty aviation, and they can find all members who are specialized in aviation insurance. So the question is, please tick the boxes where you have your specialties or which industries you work for. Once again, this is the manage your company role place, only available with the role of members administrator. One thing I forget, if there is something that you change, always press on update here, publish and update, and that saves your adjustments. Otherwise, it doesn't save. If we go back to the navigation, you see network. Yes.
Real quick interruption. Can I point out that, at least speaking for myself, I do heavily use this type of information when we select the right broker partners. So make sure that the information in there is up to date, that it does reflect your specialisms, that it really shows and speaks about your capabilities. And yeah, is up to date, simply up to date. That is, I believe, very important.
Yeah, thank you. Something else you can use, and I know you use it often as well, Katja, is the network, the members and the users. The members are the companies who are member of the Euribron network. The users are the people, the employees. Recommended brokers we do not use at this moment. So the members, you see all the members here, but there is a search field here. So if you write down, for instance, Australia, who is the member in Australia? You see it's Coverforce. If we look at China, you see we have two members in China, Abacare and Ximco. If you click on the button there, you can see all the information, locations, contacts, etc. Okay, let me go back. So that's the members. The users are the people. So for instance, I have spoken to someone from MRH. I don't know the name, and I see the people who are in the system are Andwena, Klaus, Katja, and some people who work for MH Tro. Or I know a name, Werner. What was his last name? Werner Kruger from iCapital Group in South Africa. So all the users, all the information is in here. So that's why it is important to update your personal profile here at this place, so people can easily find you. Then you see gallery and resources. Gallery are the pictures. So pictures from the conferences. Last year we had the expert meeting in The Hague. We had the annual conference in Stockholm, and this year we had our annual conference in Cape Town. And these are the pictures that we have uploaded here with group pictures. So if you attended the conference and you would like to see the pictures, you can find them here. That's the gallery. The resources are the documents. And there are several folders here. The first part is Axco reports. In this section, I downloaded already some reports that you can see. And you can find it, you can download them here. And also an information brochure or leaflet from Axco, how you can access the Axco report. So this gives you a short overview of Axco, the reports, how you can use them, and of course the Axco at Euribron email address, where you can send your requests for the reports. Yes.
Sorry, just quickly, while you were on the Axco reports section, it's just to note that because they're an offline copy, obviously if we do make any changes or updates to the report, obviously it's just to point out that, you'd probably need to refresh and upload them.
That's it. Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that's why we put the date on it. Sometimes there is a later date, but if you really need the most recent one, you can ask me. Some people will look at the members area, and some will send me a request for the most recent report. Yeah. So the resources, we are here at the conference documents. Vienna is still to come. At the conference documents of Cape Town, Monday. This means this is the my printer starts to print here. I don't know why. Sorry for some more noise here, but this gives the presentation of 17 March, 18 March, and 19 of March, and also of earlier conferences. Country news and members news. We do not use it very often yet. The country news is information about a specific country. As you can see, it's from 2021, so it's really old. But members news, sometimes when I receive messages from you as the members, I upload them here. So legal updates of Colombia, the Risco information, and also members news, Greco acquisition, recent acquisition of Comagon in Greece. Then there are two other important things, that is the Euribron logo and Euribron presentation. Here you can find all the logos, or the logo in different styles and different formats and resolutions that you can use on your website, for instance. And in the Euribron presentation, there are standard presentations with it's in PowerPoint and in PDF. The presentation empty is like a presentation format. It's only empty slides. And if you look at the presentation standard optimized, it is our general presentation. What is Euribron? Why are we different from networks as Aon and Marsh? How many members do we have? How is our approach? What makes our people special? All these kind of things are in this presentation, and you can use it in your own presentation to the client. You can use the whole presentation, or you can take off slides from it and use these in your presentations. So these are the resources. And then finally, we go to forum. And this is a new part that we launched today. I have this morning, I have subscribed, all of you and all members, to the Euribron forum, which means that you get automatically all the posts in the forum. You can unsubscribe whenever you want. When you receive a message, you can unsubscribe for that specific topic or for future topics as well. We have 4 categories. Euribron member community, which means where you can share your information, share something that is important for other members. You can ask your questions. This is more the general place where you can share expertise. Then if you have a specific question for the board, there is the Euribron questions for the board. What you do is, for instance, you click on this, you see Euribron board. Here you see the button ask a question. And when you open it, you can ask your question and it goes automatically to the board. So that's also the same in here. When you have a question here or a post here, you can add your topic here, attach a file, everything, and share whatever you want with all other members. Third category is the Euribron events that will be used by us for presentations, for communicating about webinars, about our conferences. And the final category is Euribron no dump questions. There are no dump questions. Here you can ask everything you want. For instance, if you need something like a back screen or with the Euribron logo on it, you ask us and we take care of this. So also here you click on the name and here you can ask your question. this forum is our new tool because we got a lot of questions how our members can better and more frequently communicate with each other and be informed by what is happening within Euribron and within the Euribron members. So hopefully you will use it often and that will make it a success. And with this success and better communication, I hope you will get also more business and more value for your membership. Are there any questions regarding the forum or the members area? No other questions?
It is quite clear.
Okay, thank you. Here you can also see your post that you made yourself, and here's your profile. For instance, you can your activity, subscriptions. If you don't want to receive information from a specific category, you can unsubscribe here. So that's all in there. And the same is, oh yeah, here it is. Yeah, so in your account, here you have all your the information. You can put your own website, your signature, etc. All in here. So it's very complete, and hopefully you will use it. And if you have any questions about Axco or about members area, please let me know. When it's regarding Axco and it's a technical question, I will send it to Amy and ask her to answer it within short term. Okay. No questions? No other remarks? No? Okay, then I hope this webinar was interesting for you, and then we will end this webinar, and we wish you a very good day. Thank you for your attending.
Thank you all for your time. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a nice day, everyone.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Thanks for listening. Bye.